The Pittsburgh Steelers are currently preparing for Week 1 of the 2025 NFL season to take on the New York Jets, and there is a familiar sense of anticipation in the air that only Steelers Nation can understand. Training camp and the preseason are finally in the past, 2 months of endless speculation and constant analysis of practice reps now behind us, and at last it's time to practice for a real football game. The optimism of summer always carries with it a mix of excitement and anxiety, because as every fan knows, once the lights come on and the scoreboard begins to matter, every flaw is exposed, every injury is magnified, and every decision is scrutinized. For a team with as much history and expectation as the Steelers, those realities are even sharper. This franchise doesn't just play football, it carries the weight of 6 Lombardi trophies and generations of fans demanding a 7th. But the transition from practice mode to regular season mode also brings with it a hard truth: injuries are no longer things to manage casually. Resting players just for the sake of an exhibition game is one thing, but with Week 1 looming, there's no luxury in holding stars back unless it's absolutely necessary. Early in the season, it should surprise no one to see some banged-up players sit out in order to make sure they're ready for the long haul. The NFL is a war of attrition, and Pittsburgh has always prided itself on managing that battle as well as anyone. During the first Tomlin Tuesday press conference of the season, head coach Mike Tomlin gave his initial injury update, and as always, he delivered it in that calm, measured, matter-of-fact tone that Steelers fans know so well. Tomlin has a way of giving news without theatrics, never too high, never too low, and even when the subject matter is concerning, his delivery often reassures. This time, though, he started with the bad news, though it surprised no one in the room. Rookie cornerback Derrick Harmon, who had gone down in the preseason with an MCL sprain, is the only player Tomlin officially labeled out. "Derrick Harmon is the only guy at this juncture that I would characterize as out," Tomlin said, and the honesty was appreciated even if it was expected. Harmon's injury had initially raised fears that he could be headed to injured reserve before ever playing a regular season snap, a devastating blow for a young player with so much promise. But the narrative has shifted in recent weeks, and while he won't be suiting up against the Jets, the recovery process has impressed the coaching staff. Instead of being a candidate for months of missed time, Harmon is now being described as week to week. There is even cautious optimism that he could make it back in time for the Week 2 home opener, which would be a remarkable turnaround considering the severity of his initial diagnosis. For a rookie, every missed practice rep matters, but the fact that his timeline has accelerated is proof of his resilience and the effectiveness of Pittsburgh's training staff. Tomlin then shifted the conversation to another young player who has been a popular subject of training camp updates, edge rusher Nick Herbig. The promising second-year pass rusher has been dealing with a soft tissue injury, and those injuries are always difficult to predict. They can linger, flare up suddenly, or vanish in a matter of days. But Tomlin's update this time carried a little bit of good news. "I would characterize Nick Herbig as questionable," Tomlin said. "He had a really good day yesterday, and so we'll leave the door ajar for him and see where his work leads us during the course of the week. Certainly, his participation and the quality of his participation will be the key variables in terms of our decision-making, whether we choose to use him or not." For Steelers fans, this is the balancing act they know so well. You want Herbig on the field, because his ability to fly off the edge is electric and his motor has already earned him a reputation as a potential star. But at the same time, soft tissue injuries can be career-disrupting if not managed properly. No one wants to see him rushed back only to suffer a setback that sidelines him for weeks. The Steelers have depth in the form of rookie Jack Sawyer, who has shown flashes of promise as the next man up behind T.J. Watt and Alex Highsmith, but there's no replacing Herbig's speed rush and bend around the corner. If he plays, even in limited snaps, it could change how aggressively Pittsburgh's defense attacks Justin Fields in Week 1. That defensive line, anchored by Watt and Highsmith, is the foundation of the Steelers' identity. It has been that way for years, and it will continue to be the engine that drives Pittsburgh in 2025. But Herbig's availability could be the difference between the defense being dominant and the defense being merely very good. Against a mobile quarterback like Fields, every pass rusher matters. Keep him contained, force him to stay in the pocket, and the Steelers' secondary will have chances to make plays. Let him escape, and the night becomes long. After addressing the two question marks, Tomlin pivoted to what fans wanted to hear most: some good news. Other than those two instances, we're largely a healthy group, he said. We certainly had some bumps and bruises associated with preseason work, and some people have been non-participants in games, some of it due to injury, and some of it due to precaution. Some of those guys have been working their way back. Alex Highsmith, for example, and others. We don't anticipate any of those guys' availabilities being in any way questionable. You can include Calvin Austin. Those words, largely a healthy group, were music to the ears of Steelers fans everywhere. Alex Highsmith, who had been nursing yet another groin injury throughout camp, had already broken the news himself on social media that he was cleared to play, but hearing it from Tomlin made it official. Highsmith is more than just what's running mate. He is one of the most important players on this roster, a relentless edge presence who changes games with his pressure and hustle. Losing him, even for a week, would have been a major setback. Having him back, alongside what, gives Pittsburgh one of the most dangerous bookend duos in the entire NFL. And then, of course, there's the offensive side of the ball, where the name Calvin Austin III has been on everyone's lips. The Steelers' wide receiver room has been a point of constant conversation this offseason, with DK Metcalf serving as the star acquisition and Roman Wilson being the rookie to watch. But Austin's role has always been a mystery. Injuries kept him off the field for much of training camp, and he missed all of the preseason games, leaving fans to wonder whether he would be ready to shoulder the WR2 responsibilities placed upon him. Tomlin's reassurance that Austin is healthy and ready was massive. This offense desperately needs his speed, creativity, and ability to stretch defenses. In an offense led by Aaron Rodgers, timing and chemistry are everything, and having Austin at full strength could be the hidden key to unlocking explosive plays. The fact that Austin is still listed as the starter on the initial depth chart speaks volumes about how the coaching staff views him. They trust him. They believe he is ready. Now, it's a matter of seeing that trust validated under the bright lights. For a franchise that has seen its fair share of young receivers blossom into stars, the hope is that Austin can follow in those footsteps and become a weapon alongside Metcalf and Wilson. Overall, Tomlin's first injury update of the season was more encouraging than discouraging. Yes, Harmon will miss Week 1, and yes, Herbig's status remains up in the air. But everyone else is ready, healthy, and eager to go. For a team that has dealt with its fair share of injury setbacks in recent years, entering Week 1 with the majority of the roster intact is no small feat. And so the focus now shifts fully to the Jets. The storylines are plenty. Rodgers versus his old AFC East rival. Watt and Highsmith chasing down Justin Fields. The debut of DK Metcalf in black and gold. The return of Austin. The first chance for Roman Wilson to prove he belongs. All the summer chatter, all the speculation, all the debates are about to be answered where it matters most, on the field. Steelers Nation has waited long enough. Week 1 is here.